I know I announced that I would have like a fancy new microphone going forwards, but I can't find my adapter, so I'm gonna have to get a new one, which isn't a big deal, but it just means that you're gonna have to deal with the AirPods a little bit longer. Sorry. Hey guys, it's been a bit since I did one of these little vlog things, but I think the next video is going to take a fair amount of time to do, so I figured now's a good time to do one. I don't like going a long time between uploads, and for this next video I'm going to have to read a whole bunch of books and watch a whole bunch of movies and do a lot of research. Like, my videos already take a long time to do, which if you've been on this channel for a while, you probably know that by now, but this next one is going to take like an extra long time to do. So to keep things active in the meantime, this is what you're getting. This is going to be a nice long vlog, so buckle up. I have a bunch of updates and a lot of stuff to say about them. So the last vlog I did was right after my cat, Severus, flooded my loft. As you can see, things are back to normal now. In fact, they're better than they were before, so all of that is behind us and we're doing great. So there's that out of the way. Next, the giant pink elephant in the room. It has been almost exactly 1 year since I posted my very first YouTube video. And for the best channel anniversary present ever, we hit 3,000 subscribers this month. Holy crap. Y'all. I can't even express how insanely cool that is and how grateful I am. Like, I know 3,000 doesn't sound like a lot in a world of Mr. Beasts and Markipliers, but to me that is crazy and it means so much. Thank you. I won't harp on this for a long time because if I do, I'll never stop. But genuinely, that's incredible. I appreciate and see each and every one of you, and I especially appreciate those of you who have been here since that very first video, who have put up with the crazy upload schedule and all the experimental things that I've tried and that have failed. And for those of you who watch every video and comment on every post, like for those of you who are my regulars, I see you and I appreciate you so much. You know exactly who you are, and your support just means the world. Thank you. When I made that first video about the Weird Al show, I didn't expect anyone to actually see it. My sister kept telling me, why are you spending so many late nights on this? Why are you being such a perfectionist about it? Like, no, she was nice about it, but she was saying, you know, no one's gonna see this. You don't need to worry about it so much. It was my first time doing anything like that. I had never written a script or filmed even so much as a vlog, and I had certainly never done any kind of video editing. I did it because I wanted to do it, and I thought it would be fun, and I'm amazed that it has turned into this. I have learned so much since then. I think my writing has gotten sharper, my editing has gotten better. I've started including sources for everything, which I really wish that I had done from the very beginning, but, you know, live and learn. I mean, if I could remember where I got like a lot of the media and stuff for the Weird Al show video, I would go back and add those sources, but that would take, I don't even want to think about how long that would take, so we're just going to leave it as is. And I apologize for that video, and I think the Eurovision one, that first Eurovision one I did as well, for like not having any sources for anything. I sincerely apologize. That wasn't something that I thought I would need to add or want to add. I'm glad I started adding sources, but yeah, we're just gonna write those two videos off. I don't have time for that. Anyway, I have learned so much and I still have so much more to learn. And I'm so grateful for those of you who have been around since that very first amateurish video. I wouldn't still be doing this if y'all hadn't been so enthusiastic about a first-time amateur YouTuber making a video about an incredibly niche and silly topic. So, thank you. What? Ozzy Osbourne died? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, I'm still filming. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm filming on my iPhone, and like I got a text from my sister, and I just read it, and it just says Ozzy Osbourne died, and okay, I'm gonna cut this here and like recenter and come back. What the hell? Okay, where was I? See, like, I write down, like, the stuff I want to talk about beforehand, and I'm having to get back on track, because I was just... Oh my god, Katie, stop texting me about Ozzy! Stop! Okay, this is... I promise, this is... I'm totally lost. I forgot what I was talking about. Okay, right, okay. 3,000 subscribers. That's amazing. Thank you, genuinely. I do everything on this channel completely on my own. I'm not getting paid for this. Like, technically, yes, I am technically monetized, but I think I've made about $75 so far from AdSense, and I can't even cash out until I hit 100. I'm not saying that to complain. I'm saying that to say that I do this because I genuinely enjoy doing it. It actually brings me a lot of joy. I love doing it, and I'm really glad and really touched that other people enjoy it too. Like, to know that other people like it enough for me to continue doing it is really cool, and I love that, so thank you. Okay, next kind of big update. I attended my very first big convention. I was at Fan Expo in Dallas here a few weeks ago. I have one convention that I attend every year, and I've never been to any convention outside of that, so this was a very new experience. The only reason I even ended up going was because there is a cosplay charity called Cause to Play that I'm pretty involved with. Like, whenever I can get to their events, I try to. We do like kids events, so libraries, hospitals, fundraisers, that kind of thing. We dress up in character and interact with the kids and take pictures with families, and it's very wholesome and very fun, and I love doing it. So I've done a couple of things with them in the past, and they invited me to help run their booth and do a couple of like the kids activities and panels that they had at Fan Expo. And since I was with them and helping them out with all their stuff, I got into the con for free. And hey, free con. I mean, yeah, I'll go to that. So for a little bit more context into why this was such a new experience for me, the con that I usually attend is a very small con. It's a very close-knit community. It's more like a family reunion than a convention. It used to be a Harry Potter convention. Now it's just a general fantasy convention. So my friends and I are very active in that community. I go to that convention once a year to see all my friends and to give like talks and stuff. But anyway, this convention is very small. It's more like community focused than it is anything else. It's not real big on guests or autographs or anything like that. It used to be, like, they used to have a lot of cool stuff. Not so much anymore. But because I'm used to a smaller convention where I know everyone there and we do stuff like outside of the convention and you can see pretty much everything in one day, Fan Expo, which if you've ever been to a Fan Expo, you know how massive that is, was just a whole new world for me. Like, the guest list alone made me just go, what am I getting myself into? I didn't end up doing any of the autograph or photo sessions. Like, that's not really my thing. Like, even when LeakyCon did those, I never really took advantage of it because I'm just not that interested in it. I'm not gonna spend a ton of hard-earned money to sit in a line for 3 hours so that I can be rushed by some poor overworked celebrity's handler for a piece of paper with a scribble on it. I mean, if other people want to go to cons for that, that's totally fine. Like, I'm not dissing that choice. I know it probably sounds like I am, but I promise I'm not dissing people who do that. It's just not my thing. I go to conventions to goof off with a bunch of nerds and dress up in dumb outfits and do dumb things. So that's what I did. I had several friends who were also there. So when I wasn't, helping out with the booth or helping with like the kids programming that we did, I was hanging out with them or just walking around looking at everything. And my God, was there a lot to look at. I was there Saturday and Sunday, and I don't think I even covered half the marketplace. But the main reason I wanted to talk about Fan Expo was because I got to publicly debut my owl cosplay. My group was encouraging everyone to come and cosplay since that's what we do, and usually like the events that we do with this group, they will ask for a specific thing. So they'll ask for like princesses or superheroes or whatever, so we don't get a whole lot of freedom in what we're cosplaying usually. So I don't get a whole lot of chances to just go wild with my cosplays, which is what I like to do. So this was a great opportunity to test this cosplay out on a massive group of nerds. And oh my god, I vastly underestimated just how popular that cosplay would be. Like, I could not get 10 feet without someone stopping me wanting a photo. I did the cosplay red carpet on Saturday, and I'm just standing there in a line with just a whole ton of people in these gorgeous, like, hand-sewn dresses and electronic armor, and here I am in my thrifted Hawaiian shirt with the stuffed hamster on my shoulder. Shout out to Harvey over here. And people are walking past and just treating me like I'm like the craziest thing they've ever seen. It was very surreal. And I'm not saying that to brag. Believe me, I'm just saying that it was very surreal and very funny. Like, when I walked across that little cosplay stage, like the little red carpet that they had, people just lost their mind. And I'm like, guys, this is not that impressive. Like, this started out as a joke. So yeah, Al was insanely popular. Massive success. I had a blast just like hanging out in like a quiet little corner of the convention hall and just casually playing my accordion and waiting for people to notice me. That was really funny. Oh yeah, I brought my accordion. That was an interesting experience. The case I have for it looks very threatening, like very intimidating. It's this big, bulky backpack looking thing. So I took it through security and they opened up the bag and just went, oh, that's something we've never seen before. I also took it through the prop check, which I probably didn't need to do, but I mean, I genuinely had no idea. I'd never been to a convention this big before. I had never brought like a prop like this before, certainly not something in this big backpack. And I genuinely didn't know if I needed to take it through prop check or not, so I did it just to be safe and just to be courteous. And the lady at the prop check was like, oh, that's wild. And she even put like the little ribbon that they tie on like prop weapons onto my accordion case, which I thought was really funny. So yeah, Fan Expo was super fun, and I'm honestly mad that I haven't been going to conventions for years. So the reason that I only go to this other convention, like this one convention every year, is because it was the first convention that I had ever been to, and it is massively overpriced. So because I had no experience and I'm stupid, I just assumed that all conventions were over $200 for a general weekend pass. And it turns out that they are definitely not. So now that I know that, I have started looking for more cons in my area to attend, because it was really fun and I want to take my Weird Al cosplay out more. Like, I cosplay every year for LeakyCon. I do like a couple different versions of Snape, and then I sometimes bring a Loki, and I bring my my Ebony Darkness Dementia Raven Way, who I think I've shown here before. But I had never done Al before, and that particular cosplay was so much fun and made so many people smile, and that was just, it was so rewarding. Like, I want to do that more. So I'm already looking for more places to do that. Like, I have passes to Fan Festival in October. I've got one other story from Fan Expo to share, but it ties into my other like big life update, so I'm gonna share that one first. So this update is less fun, but I want to talk about it because I know that I would have liked to have heard someone say the things I'm about to say when I first started going through this process, and I think more people need to talk about it. As y'all might have known, I was in school up until very recently. I had a full acting scholarship to a fairly well-known theater school in my area, and I was working on a Bachelor of Fine Arts in acting. And I decided very recently to drop that program. So my scholarship was technically a full ride. Like, I wasn't paying anything because I had excellent grades for my community college, and my audition was good enough to cover the entire thing. But unfortunately, I wasn't receiving the support that I needed in other areas, and not just from the school. Everyone at that school was incredibly kind, incredibly helpful. They genuinely didn't have the resources, I think, to help me. And even if they had, other things would still have stood in the way. That semester was incredibly difficult, both mentally and physically, and it took a whole lot out of me. It was really, really difficult. And I wasn't getting anything out of it. Like, I got nothing out of that whole semester. And I had to have a really tough discussion with myself about what that means. This is something that I think is a uniquely American problem. Like, I think this is something that Americans experience more so than anyone else. Like, I'm sure people in other cultures and other countries experience this kind of thing where, you know, you have to give up on your dream and you mourn for your dream. But I think it's worse for Americans because of the culture and the way that we talk about dreams in America. We're told that if you want something bad enough, you can achieve it. If you work hard enough and, you know, you just keep going at it, no matter how hard it is and no matter how many things stand in your way, you will make it if you just believe hard enough and work hard enough, even if it totally destroys you in the process. You know, like, you should follow your dreams no matter what. Never give up, never surrender. Like, I think every American child is told at some point in their life that they are going to grow up to be a billionaire CEO or a rock star or president of the United States. And if you don't achieve that dream, then the rest of the culture looks at you as if you are a failure and as if nothing you have done has ever mattered. Our American culture really pushes that narrative to the point where if you have to reevaluate your dream and you have to say, this isn't possible for me because of circumstances outside of my control, then you feel like a monumental failure. Like, you feel like you didn't try hard enough or you didn't want it badly enough. Like, if you don't get your dream, it's entirely your own fault. And here's the thing. I know that I will never be truly fulfilled if I'm not acting or performing or storytelling. But the sad truth is that I am lacking in almost everything that would make that possible. I am going to risk sounding a little bit like a narcissist here and say that I have the talent. Like, I have the ability, I have the drive, I have the instinct to make this a career and make this possible. But I also have to be smart enough to admit to myself that the barriers standing in my way are too big and too immovable, and that's not my fault. And there is nothing wrong with admitting that. I don't have the money to go to a prestigious acting school with good opportunities and connections. I don't even have the money to afford transportation and housing to a local theater school. I certainly don't have the money to move to New York or Los Angeles or anywhere else to find work. And in the current landscape of performing arts in America, I don't have the family name or the pre-existing privileges to risk throwing everything I have at something that most likely will never happen. And I think it's totally fine to admit when something is not possible. I think it is totally okay to give up, for lack of a better word, on your dream. It might hurt. You might have to grieve it for a while. I know I certainly am. But you have to know when to cut your losses and move on. So that's what I'm doing. I am moving on. It doesn't make me a failure. It doesn't mean that I wasn't brave enough to try. It means that I was brave enough to step away from something that I knew was hurting me. And I guess that's the point that I'm really trying to make to anyone else who has been in the same kind of situation. There comes a point when you have to be brave enough and you have to care about yourself enough to recognize that something is hurting you and to step away from it. It doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you a failure. It doesn't mean that you didn't have the innate talent or ability to make it happen. The world is just an unfair place sometimes. So instead, I am shifting focus. I think I'm going to pursue psychology. I really feel drawn specifically towards religious trauma counseling and therapy for high control group survivors. So that's probably what I'm going to work towards instead. It's not what will make me the happiest, but I can live with it, and sometimes that's the best that you can hope for. But then I had an interesting conversation at Fan Expo that ties back into all of this. So on Sunday, I'm hanging out in the hotel lobby waiting to be picked up so I can go home, and I'm still in full cosplay. I took the wig off at one point, but then I realized that I was just sitting there in the lobby with this mustache on that I couldn't take off because I hadn't brought any makeup remover, and at least with the wig on, it made a little bit more sense. So I put the wig back on, and I'm just sitting there in the hotel lobby dressed as Weird Al, which turned out to be a good thing because there were a bunch of people who were like leaving the con because it had just closed, and like all these people were walking past, and every once in a while someone would go, "Oh, there's the Weird Al. We had heard that there was a Weird Al here, and we were looking for you. There you are. Can we get a picture?" Which is so funny. Like, I've got a friend in the Mandalorian Mercs who had told me that she had heard people talking about the Weird Al cosplayer, but I thought she was just exaggerating. Apparently she was not. But anyway, I'm taking pictures with people in the lobby. And here's the thing. I'm tired. I'm hungry. My feet hurt. My voice is gone. My shoulders are killing me from carrying an accordion around like on my shoulders for 2 full days. But that cosplay made people so happy. And I know it sounds silly. It probably comes from like working with kids in cosplay and all that that entails. But I feel like when I'm in costume, I am representing whatever fandom I'm cosplaying. And I want to be the best ambassador I can and never leave anyone with a bad experience. And this is a message that I want to impart to all cosplayers. No matter who you are dressed as, you never know if you are someone's absolute favorite person or absolute favorite comfort character. Like, you don't know what your character might mean to someone. And so I always try to be as accommodating and open and friendly as I can, no matter who I'm dressed as. Unless I'm dressed as Snape, then I'm just a bitch to everyone and they love it. But anyway, Al makes people so happy that it was especially important to me that as long as I felt like I was representing him, I was as friendly to people as I possibly could be. Which I know sounds crazy and like I'm taking it way too seriously, but I take everything way too seriously, so whatever. So even though I was bone tired, I was really putting in an effort to connect with people all weekend. And that turned out to be a great decision because I ended up taking a few pictures with someone who it turned out was a minor celebrity and worked in the performing arts industry, and not only as an actor. And when we started talking, he told me who he was and what he did, and I didn't know who this person was when I first started taking pictures with him. But we started talking, and because we got along really well, and just started telling each other about ourselves. And when he said he worked in the industry and told me who he was, I took a huge risk and told him a little bit about what I was going through and asked for some advice. And first of all, y'all, he was so incredibly sweet and supportive. It's always so wonderful to meet people who will really try to take the time to connect with others and listen to them and see them. And we had a wonderful conversation that made me feel a lot better about just the whole thing. But then at the end of this conversation, he says, "You know what? You should look into voice acting." And I know everyone says that everyone should get into voice acting, but we talked about it for a while. He gave me some great resources, some great starting points. And the thing is, I've been told many, many times that I should look into voice acting. But I never took it seriously because it came from people that I knew, and I thought they were just being nice, and I had no idea where to start. But after that conversation and after doing a little more research, I've decided that, yeah, I'm gonna look into this. I can't do much until I have a little more money and can maybe afford some coaching, because if I'm gonna do this, I wanna do it the right way. And I know that people often get into an industry like this and they just jump right in and think that they can just hit the ground running, and that's not how the performing world works. But I think with some time and a lot of effort and a lot of patience, that this could be a good answer. And I know it's going to take a lot of work, but the thing is, my original plan was also going to take a lot of work. That's just how the performing arts world is. I was already totally prepared to go through all of that in a slightly different form. And this is just shifting focus to something that maybe is a little bit more accessible. And it's a roundabout way of saying it, but the moral of the story is twofold. First of all, that even if you have to give up on what you thought your life would look like, and you have to give up on what you thought your dream was, you might still be able to find a way if you just look at it from a different angle. It may not look exactly like you'd envisioned, but that doesn't have to be the end of it entirely. Sometimes it's just about being adaptable and being willing to look at other options that you may not have known were even there. And the other moral of the story is to always treat other people like people. As much as you have the ability to, be kind and be receptive, because in my experience, when you're willing to give to other people, whether that be your resources or just your time, they are often willing to give back. And obviously, that should not be the only reason that you're nice to people. Like, don't be nice to people because you think they're going to repay you in some way. What I'm more saying is the more goodness you put into the world, no matter how small it might seem, the more goodness is out there because you put it there, you know? I like to say that it's not about giving more than you're able to, but about being generous with what you have. I'm an extrovert. I have that ability. I have, the energy in social spaces to go out and talk to people and listen to them and try to give them a little bit of something. And so that's what I do. You may have something else, but my point is be generous with what you have. And speaking of, that leads me to my last update, which is important because it does affect the channel. Not a whole lot, like don't panic or anything. My friends have been trying to get me to do TikTok forever now. I never got into TikTok. First of all, I didn't know what to post, and second, the vibes there are absolutely rancid. The vibes here on YouTube are great. I've never had problems here. I think I've gotten like 1 or 2 low effort trolls ever. Over on TikTok, it's a bunch of vicious little 12-year-olds with My Hero Academia profile pictures who call you ugly and tell you to off yourself if you don't like Has-Been Hotel. So like, TikTok is not my thing. My sister loves TikTok. She posts there all the time, and she's always getting death threats for making very innocuous comments about like musicians and stuff. So yeah, TikTok is just a rancid place, my God. But one piece of advice I was given at the convention by many people and by the wonderfully helpful actor that I met was to put my cosplay, specifically my Weird Al cosplay, more places, because it's not a very common cosplay. People absolutely love it, and I'm pretty good at it, if I do say so myself. And since people also pushed me to do YouTube, and they weren't wrong there, I decided to give TikTok the old college try. And woo boy, I made the most low effort cosplay post and got over 25,000 likes in 2 days. I posted it to Instagram and doubled that number there. For context, beforehand, I averaged maybe 10 likes a post on Instagram on a good posting day. I more than doubled my subscriber amount on both apps within the week. Now, I don't do this for the views. This being like YouTube or anything really. If I did this for the views, I would be posting cheap soap-cutting ASMR and Fortnite reaction videos, and not 2-hour video essays on various Weird Al related media. But as I've always tried to make clear on this channel, I post things that I enjoy. Reactions be damned. And I enjoy silly cosplay. And I enjoy other people enjoying my silly cosplay. So what that means is that you will probably see an uptick of shorts uploads on this channel. I don't like shorts. I don't like that YouTube pushes shorts over every other kind of content. I don't like that when I look at my analytics, my biggest numbers are coming from admittedly kind of shitty short reels. I hate that, but I like cosplay. So if you see me posting a bunch of cosplay shorts, don't panic. This channel is not changing. I am still always working on the next big video. I just also enjoy dressing up in silly costumes and lip syncing lines from The Office. I've always told myself that if I did YouTube or TikTok or whatever else, I would always try to stay authentic and only post things that I enjoy making, and that has not changed. I'm just adding to that. So yeah, that's all I've got for now. I'm seeing Al in 2 weeks. I am meeting Al in 2 weeks. I promise I will do a full vlog just about that once I have decompressed from the experience. But until then, that's really it. If you want a sneak peek for my next video was going to be ranking every 80s John Hughes film. But I've decided to shift that focus just a little bit. While I was rewatching a lot of these films, a different idea came to mind that is a little bit more serious, but I really hope that you guys will like it. I love relating retro media to real life and bringing it into a modern context. And I think there's a lot we can cover in that area when it comes to 80s teen flicks. So I want to talk about coming of age films from the 1980s in general, and I want to discuss how they've aged, what we can learn from them, and kind of ruminate on how we should view these films today. What makes these films so timeless and relatable? And how can we take the good from them while also recognizing some of the elements that haven't aged so well and learn from those too? It's a video that will take a lot of research and a lot of writing. I've already got some of the books that I'll be reading and referencing right here. I have already read this one and I really liked it. I'm very excited to start on this one. And I've got a couple of other ones too that I have not finished that I will share like in the finished video. Because on this channel, we love copious amounts of research. So yeah, I'm really excited to do that video. And I still don't know how to end a vlog. This is the end of the vlog, I guess. Yeah, thank you so much for an incredible first year on YouTube, and I'll see you in the next video. Oh, I know, I gotta get Sev. That's what I gotta do. Oh, he's upset because I woke him up from a nap, and I feel kind of bad. Here's my cat.